Peru and sailed to England alone. There he met the Browns and they took him home. Now a new life has begun. He's Windsor Garden's favorite son, 'cause he always does his best to help everyone. When a problem appears, he never misses a beat, and always finds a way to land on his feet. Has his very own unique point of view. Looks at everything as if it's brand new. He is friendly and polite, and he tries to do things right, but he gets in sticky messes just the same. He's curious and speaks his mind, but trouble's never far behind. It's Paddington Bear, he's one of a kind.
I'm Paddington Bear. London's been hit by another one of Mrs. Bird's cold snaps, which means it's time for making snowmen. This one reminds me of someone. I know, Mr. Curry.
Bear?
Ah! It even sounds like him.
Come over here, Bear.
Oh, it is you, Mr. Curry.
I've caught a nasty cold in my nose.
A cold in your doze?
Not my nose, my nose.
Oh, you mean your nose?
And if that isn't enough, my system is frozen.
Your system's frozen, Mr. Curry. Oh, dear. I better get Mrs. Bird to send for Dr. McAndrew.
I don't want a doctor, Bear. I want Mr. James, the plumber. It's my water pipes that are frozen solid, not my insides.
Oh.
Here! Give him my front door key and tell him it's an emergency. He can let himself in. And tell him not to make too much noise. I shall probably be in bed asleep. And no hanging about on the way. If you're quick, I may even give you 10 pence.
If I had all the 10 pences Mr. Curry's promised me over the years, I'd be rich.
Curry? I know him and his little jobs. He still hasn't paid me for the last one I did, and that was 6 months ago.
It's nice to know I'm not the only one.
Tell him for me that before I do any more little jobs for him, I want to see the colour of his money.
Oh, I expect he would show it to you, Mr. James, only he may be asleep.
That wouldn't surprise me.
He's got a cold, you see, and...
Well, okay. I'll lend Mr. Curry these. A blow lamp and a do-it-yourself book on plumbing.
It's very kind of you, Mr. James, but...
Tell him I'm all booked up, so it's take it or leave it.
Knowing Mr. Curry, I think he would rather I'd left it. On the other hand, I knew he wouldn't be best pleased if he woke up and found his pipes were still frozen. The Plumber's Mate by Bert Stilson. Everything the amateur plumber needs to know.
It sounds as if Mr. Curry is having trouble with his plumbing.
I wouldn't want to be the unlucky person who has to fix those old pipes. Whoa!
Mr. James! Can't you hit those pipes quietly? Quiet!
Everything's coming along fine, Mr. Curry.
One of the best methods of thawing a frozen pipe is pouring boiling water over rags wrapped around it. If the pipes are frozen, where am I supposed to get the water to boil? What's that funny smell?
Mr. James! What's that funny smell?
Things are just heating up in here, Mr. Curry.
It's funny that Mr. Stilson does his plumbing in warm weather when pipes would never freeze. Heating the pipe is another effective method. Fancy leaving it until the last chapter to tell people that. Hooray!
What's going on in there?
I think the water's starting to flow.
Once the pipes are thawed, check for leaks. Checked. Tape wrapped tightly around a small leak will serve as a temporary repair.
Mr. James? How's the job coming along then, eh? Nearly finished? I'm dying for a nice hot bath.
Everything's just fine, Mr. Curry.
Well, I hope you're not charging me by the hour.
Nearly finished, Mr. Curry.
Good.
Likely trouble spots are... This must be where the water's frozen.
The water's running at last. Bear? Bear? Where's Mr. James? Where's all this water coming from, Bear?
Paddington, it's Mr. Curry to see you.
I just wanted to thank you, Bear. Here's your 10 pence and a box of cream buns as a bonus for a job well done.
Well done.
Yes, thanks to you, Bear, all the pipes in my bathroom are going to be repaired professionally. My insurance is paying for it because the pipes broke during the night.
You're lucky, Mr. Curry, that you didn't have a clause in your insurance policy saying you weren't covered for freezing pipes.
Yes, but in this case, it had nothing to do with a clause. It was paws that did it.
Oh!
And if ever I need another act of Bear, I'll know where to come.
Act of Bear? Well, I never.
Don't eat that. I was just reading about the recent sighting of the Yeti. The Yeti's been sighted. What is the Yeti, Mr. Gruber?
The Yeti, which is also called the abominable snowman, is a mythical creature, Mr. Brown. People claim it lives in the mountains of Tibet.
Is that why we're going there? To find the Yeti and include it in your book, The World and Its Wonders?
We're certainly going to include the story of the Yeti, but I don't hold out much hope of finding it. Like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, we are not certain the Yeti even exists. Tibet, however, is a land of infinite fascination. The Himalayas, Mr. Brown. That peak is the world's highest mountain, Mount Everest. Sir Edmund Hillary was the first person to climb it.
Did he see the Yeti, Mr. Gruber?
I don't believe so, Mr. Brown. But here's a photograph that another explorer took. Judge for yourself.
Welcome, Mr. Brown. And welcome to you too, sir. My name is Ngapo.
Pleased to meet you.
The Yeti is half man, half bear. His kind have lived in the mountains for thousands of years. Although people fear him, it is said the Yeti has helped lost travelers find their way.
Have you seen the Yeti?
Seeing him is not important. We believe he exists.
I would be happy to lead you into the mountains. With luck, perhaps we shall see for ourselves.
Oh! We will make an early start in the morning.
To see the Yeti, you must keep your eyes and ears open. But most important, your heart.
Why don't you try that theory you read about, Mr. Brown? Of how the Yeti footprints may have been made by a bear.
How did it work again, Mr. Gruber?
If you place your hind paw partly over the imprint of your forepaw, you will create a footprint positioned in the opposite direction. And that resembles the Yeti footprint.
Oh. I don't think much of the footprint theory, Mr. Gruber. It must be hard if you're a Yeti to tell whether you're coming or going.
Quite right, Mr. Brown.
We should hurry while the weather is good. In the Himalayas, the weather can change at the drop of a hat.
Oh! I'm sorry I dropped my hat, Mr. Gruber. I didn't mean to make the weather change.
I believe that's simply a figure of speech, Mr. Brown. Where's Mr. Brown?
I'll find the young bear. You wait here for me.
Mr. Gruber? Ngapo! Ah, Mr. Gruber! Mr. Gruber!
Mr. Brown! Over here!
Mr. Gruber. Now both are lost. I must find them.
Even though Mr. Gruber was dressed warmly, it sounded as though he was getting a cold. Luckily, Mrs. Bird had given me some throat lozenges for the trip. Here you are, Mr. Gruber. Have some lozenges for your sore throat. Mrs. Bird swears by them. Don't worry, they taste strong, but they do work.
Mr. Gruber! Mr. Brown!
We can use this cave as shelter and ride out the storm. How clever of you to lead us here, Mr. Brown.
But I was following you. Here, Mr. Gruber, have another lozenge.
Another? But I haven't had any yet.
I gave you one when I was following you.
I'm afraid high altitudes can make people lightheaded and confused, Mr. Brown.
My head feels the same weight as it did this morning.
We'd better rest. We'll have to try and find Nagapo in the morning. I do hope he's all right.
You must be hungry, Mr. Gruber. Here. Though I don't think I've got any bread. Why, Mr. Gruber? You were really hungry. Luckily, I had my emergency sandwich. It's a good job we're not staying in a hotel, Mr. Gruber. Your snoring would keep the other guests awake.
It's a good job we're not staying in a hotel, Mr. Brown. Your snoring would keep the other guests awake.
Your cold must have been bothering you during the night, Mr. Gruber. You were snoring very loudly.
I'm afraid you must have been the one snoring, Mr. Brown. I never snore.
I think perhaps you may be the one suffering from lightheadedness, Mr. Gruber. I never snore either.
What I'm suffering from at the moment is a light stomach. I'm very hungry.
I know. You ate a whole jar of marmalade during the night.
I what?
Mr. Brown? Mr. Gruber?
Ngapo, thank goodness you are all right. However did you find us?
Why, I followed Mr. Brown's fake Yeti footprints.
Now that's very clever, Mr. Brown. Getting up early to make fresh prints for Ngapo to find?
I didn't make any fresh prints.
But if you didn't, then... The Yeti!
I know we experienced some strange goings-on last night, but there must be some other explanation.
I don't suppose we shall ever know for certain. But it would be nice to think it was the Yeti who led us to the cave, Mr. Gruber.
Oh!
And if it was, I hope Mrs. Bird's lozenges help him get over that nasty cold. Aunt Lucy, you can't imagine the surprise I had yesterday morning.
Paddington,
Yes, Mrs. Bird?
be careful of the snow.
It's cold.
Oh, my goodness.
Everything's turned white outside. Look!
It's all right, Paddington. It's only snow.
It's sort of like frozen rain, only very soft, like melted ice cream.
It doesn't taste like ice cream.
I can't remember this much snow since I was a girl. I so enjoyed making snowmen.
Snow, snow, beautiful snow. Wonderful, magical, beautiful snow. When days get short, the wind begins to blow. Soon we'll see the first beautiful snow. Millions of flakes float down into view and blanket the world to make it fresh and new. You need to dress up warm to play in the snow. Coat, boots, mitts, hat, and scarf, you're ready to go. Snow, snow, beautiful snow. Wonderful, magical, beautiful snow. Snow is fun for everyone, so enjoy it while you can. Roll it, mold it, pack it, stack it. Let's make a snowman. It's so much fun. You shout hooray and wish it would snow each and every day. Snow, snow, beautiful snow. Wonderful, magical, beautiful snow. If you've never seen it, you just don't know. Wonderful, magical, beautiful snow.
Anyone for a snowball fight?
Snowball fight? You missed!
I didn't nap time.
That bear. I'll give him a piece of my mind for waking me up.
Hey!
You can't get me, Paddington!
Bear!
Mr. Curry, run, Paddington!
Bear!
Good morning, Mr. Curry. Would you like a game of snowballs too?
No, I would not, Bear. Your snowball hit me on the nose.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Curry. Is there anything I can do? Clear your path, Mr. Curry.
If you do a good job, there might just be 10 pence in it for you.
It took a while, Aunt Lucy, but I got there in the end. Phew.
Why haven't you started yet, Bear? Get to work, or I'll have to report you for throwing snowballs.
Mr. Curry must have caught Paddington before he could get away.
We'll soon see about that. Paddington, time for lunch.
Coming, Mrs. Bird. Just as soon as I've finished clearing Mr. Curry's snow. It's always good to have a little something under your hat for emergencies.
Ah, just what's needed to make a good job of things. Bear? Bear!
Mr. Curry!
Where has that bear got to? Bear!
Where has Mr. Curry got to?
Bear!
Here I am, Mr. Curry! Mr. Curry!
Bear!
I had never pictured Mr. Curry playing hide and seek.
Ah! Who shut my back door? Bear!
But it was certainly my turn to hide.
Who locked me out of my house? Bear!
Where has that bear got to? Aha!
Oh dear, poor Paddington. We'd better help him.
It was freezing under all that snow.
Paddington!
How dare you lock me out of my house? One thing's certain, there'll be no 10 pence for you.
We'll help you get back inside, Mr. Curry. The coal chute's the only way in, Paddington. We've tried everything else.
Down you go, Bear. Remember that 10 pence?
Do you think I'll fit, Mr. Curry?
You'll fit all right. Hurry!
Good luck, Paddington.
Mind how you go! I keep a lot of valuable antiques down there.
It's very dark.
My dear old grandmother's favorite lamp! Out! Out of my house this instant! And no 10 pence!
I'm sorry, Mr. Curry.
No!
Mrs. Bird is always telling me to make sure I close the door whenever I go out. But I don't think even she would have expected me to do it that day. Mr. Curry certainly didn't.
Bear!